New in box from 1997, it's the World Talk Internet Phone by Interact Multimedia Products. It says you can make long-distant calls for free across the internet, provides real-time two-way phone conversations, compatible with all internet phone software, requires Windows 95 compatible full duplex sound card. And as shown there, it simply plugs into your sound card's line in and line out jacks. And on the side it has a list of compatible sound cards, including the Sound Blaster 16, 32, and AWE 32. And on the other side is a list of compatible software, which I'm sure is all long obsolete and discontinued by now. And on the back is an unnecessarily long list of features, because if you haven't gotten the hint by now, this is really just a speakerphone that plugs into your sound card. As far as I can tell, it does not include any software, nor is there anything really special about it.
Wow! That's so smart! Your phone is actually attached to the base station so you don't lose it.
Using the internet to make phone calls is now as easy as picking up your phone with the World Talk Internet Phone. You can use World Talk to place individual and conference calls around the world, all for the price of your internet connection. Includes a base microphone and speaker, enables use as a speakerphone, handset. With the integrated speaker and microphone in the handset, you can have the clearest internet phone calls. It also has an external speaker jack. The pass-through speaker jack lets you still use high-fidelity multimedia speakers from names like Jensen, Advent, and AR Acoustic Research for your multimedia applications. Also has an external mic jack. Pass-through microphone jack lets you still use a high-quality external microphone for multimedia and voice-activated applications. Also has a power/mute switch between handset and speakerphone mode, and a microphone sensitivity knob, adjust the microphone for improved sound. You can even attach it to the side of your CRT monitor. It's model number SV-2030, Interactive Division of Rakuten Corporation. And remember those three brands of speakers I mentioned, Jensen, Advent, and AR? Those were also divisions of Rakuten. So that's why they mentioned those brands. Made in China. And there it is. Copyright 1997, Rakuten Corporation. The Rakuten World Talk sold for $39.97, the same price as a competitive product, the Information Superhighway VoiceNet, which allowed you to turn your existing landline telephone into an internet phone, also by connecting it to your computer's sound card. And someone must have got a rebate on this because they cut out the barcode. So finally, let's open it up. Underneath the styrofoam, we get this World Talk Internet Phone manual. I'll look through that a little bit later. 90-day limited warranty. As one more way of saying thank you, by completing and returning this registration card, you'll be entered in our monthly drawing for a free Interact product. Okay, and you have to tell them everything about yourself, including who selected and purchased this product. I heard about Interact from a friend, magazine catalog, store display demo, World Wide Web/Internet or other. Which following do you have? America Online, CompuServe, Prodigy, Microsoft Network, Genie, Direct Internet World Wide Web account, email, Internet Usenet groups, or Netscape. What kind of systems do you have? IBM PC, Mac, Nintendo, Super Nintendo, Nintendo Game Boy, Virtual Boy, Nintendo 64, Atari Jaguar, Sega 30... Why did they even have to know this? Sega 32X, Genesis, Game Gear, CD, Nomad, Saturn, Sony PlayStation, or 3DO, and so on and so forth. Doesn't even tell you what kind of prizes you can win. And there's the Velcro for mounting it on the side of your monitor. And that's the handset with the cable. And there's the base unit. And that's it. Like I said, no software. It's just a speakerphone that plugs into your sound card. And also tucked into the packaging is the bracket for mounting it on the side of your monitor. And there it is, all assembled. It really is just like a cheap speakerphone with a handset. There's the microphone and speaker in the base. And it plugs into your sound cards. Line in, or I don't know, is it microphone or line in? Because this thing has a microphone symbol on it, which suggests it should go to the microphone jack instead of the line in jack. And that plugs into your speaker jack. Yeah, even though the box specifically says to plug it into your line in jack, in the manual it says to use the mic jack, not the line in jack. Also on it is that sensitivity adjustment for the microphone, which is probably just a gain adjustment for the output. It doesn't actually make it more sensitive, it just makes it louder. So the more you turn it up, the more background noise it's going to pick up. And those are those bypass jacks, so you can still use your regular speakers and microphone. And there's the switch to go between the handset and the speakerphone. And I guess the red light is for when it's in the speakerphone mode. And something the box didn't mention is that it needs 2 AA batteries. Luckily there's none left in there. And there it says Interact SV2030 World Talk patent pending, made in China. I guess that's a 44th week of 1997 date code. I put in some batteries, and yes, when I push the button the red LED lights up. Actually, if I read the manual, I would have learned that this button is simply a power button. You have to turn it on manually, and remember to turn it off when you're done, otherwise you're going to run down those batteries. And it automatically switches to the speakerphone when you hang up the handset. And since I happen to be using a high-definition Handycam with an external microphone jack, why don't I just try plugging this directly into the camcorder? First I'll turn it on. And I'll plug it into the microphone input. Okay, I don't think this Handycam likes it when you plug in an external microphone while you're recording, so I had to do a jump cut and already have it connected and turned on when I began recording. So now you're hearing it through the microphone built into the Interact World Talk Internet telephone. So that's what's picking up my voice right now. I had to turn down the sensitivity quite a bit, and I think it's still peaking out the meter on the Handycam. Now I'll try switching to the handset. Okay, I'm now talking into the handset of the World Talk Internet telephone. Okay, that sounded terrible, so now I set the sensitivity all the way down. I'm going to try that again. Yeah, I think this is a very sensitive output on this, or maybe it actually is designed for a line input jack rather than microphone, which would explain why it has such a high output level, and it seems to be overdriving the Handycam even with that sensitivity control turned all the way down. So this is how the handset sounds. Okay, whew, back to the Handycam's built-in microphone. Well, the built-in microphone does sound rather tinny, but it does pick up pretty well, so it would be useful. And this handset, the microphone seems like it would do a pretty good job. Certainly sounds a lot better in terms of bass response of your voice than the built-in speakerphone microphone, but it picks up a lot of breath noise and a lot of handling noise from this cheap handset. Now, one thing you may wonder, since this uses a standard modular jack, could we just unplug this handset and use an ordinary telephone handset from any kind of landline telephone with a separate handset? So let's try plugging that in and see if that works and sounds any better than the included handset. Hello, can you hear me? Hello. Oh, that's actually picking up through the speaker rather than the microphone. So if you could hear me through all that noise, it was actually picking up my voice through the speaker end of it rather than the microphone end. So apparently they reversed the connections on this. And just for the sake of completeness, I tried connecting this handset to a regular telephone, and no, it doesn't work.
Check 1 2, check 1 2. And to test the quality of the World Talk Internet telephone's built-in speaker, I'm recording my voice on this Radio Shack portable cassette recorder, and I'm going to play it back through the recorder's earphone output into the Internet telephone.
And due to the conflicting statements on the box and in the manual about whether or not the World Talk puts out a microphone level or line level signal, I got out my 2001 Compaq Evo N400C laptop, which has both inputs, so I can try either one and see which one sounds better. First, for comparison, a recording made using the laptop's built-in microphone. Next, a recording made on the kind of external microphone that came with many 1990s multimedia PCs. And now a recording made using the World Talk's built-in microphone with its level adjustment set about halfway, plugged into the computer's external microphone input. And now I'm using the World Talk's handset mic, again with its level adjustment set about halfway and plugged into the computer's microphone input. And now using the World Talk's handset mic with its level adjustment turned all the way up and plugged into the computer's line input jack this time. So the answer is, I don't know. The World Talk sounded very distorted and overmodulated when plugged into the microphone input, especially when using the handset. But when I plugged it into the line input jack, it still sounded distorted, just not as loud. So that's about it for the Interact Multimedia Products World Talk Internet Phone from 1997 by Rekaton. Its only real advantage is that it makes using your computer to make a phone call more similar to the look and feel of a traditional landline telephone. Otherwise, in terms of sound quality, it would be easily outclassed by the kind of microphone and speakers that your computer already had at the time. Plus, I think many people would have been misled by its claim of allowing you to make long-distance calls for free across the internet, despite not coming with any software to let you do so. Maybe that's why this one was still new in the original box. Someone bought it, realized it didn't do what they thought it did, and gave up on it.
Don't forget to subscribe for more unboxings, reviews, and other, well, computer videos?